You spawned into a new Minecraft world. Now, your mission is to have fun, get to the Nether, and conquer its fiery fortresses, and get to the end in order to defeat the Ender Dragon. Really, it's a pretty simple concept. However, after playing the game for years, you and other players begin to think of the bigger picture. Whether it's the end title screen after jumping into the end portal, or simply just your curious nature, you could quickly find yourself down the Minecraft rabbit hole. One such topic of curiosity is Minecraft's religious undertones. While there isn't specifically religion in Minecraft, we can look at the Nether and come up with something close to it. You know, since it's hell in Minecraft. So, would that mean that there's a heaven-like place? Back in early InfDev Minecraft, map themes were different map types you could choose to load up and play in on single player. The first map being the typical overworld format, while the second map was just a bit different. The second map added to the game was literally called Hell. There you have it. This map theme was significantly darker than its former and featured lava oceans rather than water ones. A third map was also added, this one being called Floating. This map type was just an overworld version of what we now know as the Ends, with large grass islands hovering above the void. Map themes, however, were discontinued shortly after, and the Hell and Floating Island ideas fizzled out of the game. Or so it appeared. Notch, the creator of Minecraft, said in a 2010 Tumblr post that he would like to re-add the Hell map, but it appears not for the exact reason of having something scary in the game. Rather, he wanted the map to serve a similar purpose to something he'd read in the book series, The Wheel of Time, whereas in this book series, the Way was a transportation method that people used to travel a vast amount of distance in a shorter time. Notch was seemingly hoping to add this so that players could do this exact thing. So, less than a month later, Notch released the Halloween update poster for Minecraft in 2010, and at the very top, it read as follows: "Explore a scary new realm, a brand new hell world for fast travel. Portal in, move 10 meters. Portal out, and you're hundreds of meters away." Notch quickly got to work on adding two new mobs to this dimension, one being the Ghast, and the other being the zombie pigmen, which he actually called pointless in a post. Poor pigmen. It's okay. We still love you. Just 2 days later, Notch posted a new screenshot of what this new dimension might look like. Leading up to the Halloween update, however, the Nether wasn't called the Nether at all. In fact, it wasn't really being called Hell either. Instead, the new dimension was being called the Slip. The day of the release, however, the new dimension was being called the Nether. The Nether had finally made its way into the game with this. After the Nether was finally added, the next year, in 2011, Notch tweeted out these pictures of what was then being called a Sky Dimension, which is a very similar design to the former InfDev map themes. The end name was first mentioned just a few months later. As the Farlands began rising popularity, which I've linked a video to in the description, players jokingly began petitioning for Notch to rename the Enderman mobs to Farlanders. Notch said in a tweet that he would rather rename the Farlands to the Ends than change the Enderman's names. A Reddit user then posted that Notch's new Sky Dimension would probably be called the Ender, and would serve as home to the Enderman and the Ender Dragons. Now, this guy was actually pretty spot on looking back. He must be a time traveler or something. Notch said that the user was 100% correct, although he did say that the new dimension was actually going to be called the Ends, and that only one Ender Dragon would be spawning into this new dimension. The very next few days, Notch uploaded photos and videos of what the End was looking like in its early stages of development. Jeb then posted around the same time that this new dimension was officially being rebranded as the Ends, rather than the Sky Dimension for a few reasons. Then, in the official release of Minecraft, version 1.0, the End was officially added into the game. Now, Minecraft had its 3 dimensions that still exist 10 years later. That brings us to today. We know that the Nether is hell for a multitude of reasons, so what about the End? The End was originally being called the Sky Dimension, so would that imply that it would have served as some kind of heaven-like place, or the Aether, if the Nether were to be the underworld? There are a few things that would support this idea, like this. As we can see, each dimension has their own ID in the game, with the overworld being, of course, 0. But what's strange about this is that instead of the Nether being labeled 1, because as the game's second dimension added, it's labeled as -1. And even stranger, the End is labeled as 1 instead. Because the IDs are not put in a chronological order, we can assume that there must be a reason for this. The reason that prevails today is that the Nether is -1 because it is in fact the underworld being under 0, which would explain why there isn't a sky in the Nether. Rather, there's a bedrock layer similar to the one in the bottom of the overworld. So this would mean that the end could be above the overworld, as it is 1 ID higher than 0. While this makes really good sense and seems to check out, Dinnerbone, another prominent Minecraft developer, has said otherwise, tweeting out that this isn't really the case. While this could put down the whole idea as, he is Dinnerbone, a user did retweet a concept that would detest Dinnerbone's statement, saying that because of the Nether's fast travel idea and diagram, it would only make sense if the Nether were to be under the overworld. Another reason that the ends could be a heavenly sky dimension is because it was rooted from the map theme, Floating Islands. It was literally called a sky dimension by Notch earlier on. As it pertains to this video, the Aether was a very popular sky dimension mod that's pretty much the opposite of the Nether. While players still root for the Aether to be implemented even today, many Minecraft experts say that this will never happen. Perhaps it's because Minecraft already has its sky dimension, the end. Other players have noticed this and wondered if the end was indeed Minecraft's Aether, as such as here on Minecraft Reddit. I know it might be a silly question, but is the end meant to be a representative of heaven? A user commented below this something very insightful, saying, the end was supposed to be a sky island world which kind of represents heaven. They then scrapped the idea and made it into a final boss stage but keeps the sky island theme. You can see it as a corrupted heaven now appears at the Ender Dragon's lair. The obsidian pillars was once the pillars of a temple or a palace in heaven. By killing the Ender Dragon you liberate the end, which might mean you ended the corrupted ruling of the Ender Dragon. It is true that when you kill the Ender Dragon you get the achievement Free the End, as of 1.17 of course. So, is what the user saying true? By killing the Ender Dragon, are you freeing the true Aether dimension from its Ender foes? While this is a very good idea, we may never know the real truth of the Aether. So, what do you think? Do you think the end is Minecraft's Aether? Perhaps something bigger than that? Let me know in the comments below. I always enjoy looking at what you all have to say. If something emerges about this topic, I'll be sure to make a part 2.